It feels like gaming is a minefield of loot boxes and microtransactions these days. It feels like you have to keep your eye on the news on YouTube to find out whether you get the whole game when you buy it at launch. If only there was some way to keep track of all that stuff, like a zone for microtransactions.
This week, a new website popped up online that collates and rates video games based on their microtransactions, DLC, loot boxes, and all-round consumer friendliness. Microtransaction.zone is basically a database, so you bash in the name of a game that you want to check out to see just how heavy the in-game monetization is. We put in Destiny 2. Here's what the site told us about it. Firstly, the site gives Destiny 2 4 tags. One telling us it has loot boxes with randomized content, buyable with real money. There's one telling us that what you get in those loot boxes might include gameplay altering effects. One tag warns us it's a potential infinite money hole with no upper limit on in-game purchases, and one lets us know that it does include what the site calls expansive expansions, in other words paid DLC reminiscent of traditional expansion packs, actual content for actual money. Although in Destiny 2's specific case I'd have to argue that last one's being a little bit generous.
So Destiny 2 gets those 4 tags, however there are like 7 or 8 tags in total. They'll tell you whether a game has a subscription service, whether a game has micro DLC, like horse armor tags.
Yeah, horse armor DLC from Oblivion. That was a famously shit DLC for Elder Scrolls Oblivion when that came out. Armor for your horse, which became a meme. So there's a tag for that. If there is DLC, but it's a bit crap.
Yeah, and there's a tag for completely spotless, right? So if it has no additional monetization at all, you'll get like a big golden tick, which is what the site's trying to promote, right? You get the big golden tick, and that's what everyone wants. So it's a really, really useful way of just like overseeing everything, because when you search for games or when you look at a games list or whatever, you'll see the name of the game, and in the search results you'll see all the tags along the bottom, and the ones are highlighted if you've got loot boxes, if it's got this and that. It's really useful.
We are in no way affiliated with this site, by the way. This is just come up in the news, and it's a useful tool.
You know how we think about microtransactions and all that bullshit. Something like this for us is awesome.
I know that it does sound a little bit like, hey guys, I just found this awesome website and you should check it out.
There are no monetization things at the website. You should point that out. So if anyone was making money, which they're not, it definitely wouldn't be us.
Seriously though, we're not.
As well as those tags, the site offers a detailed breakdown of the game's microtransaction system, which in Destiny 2's case centers around the Eververse store. Here's a quote from the description. You can use real money to buy a currency called silver, and then use this silver to buy items in the Eververse store. The main thing to purchase with silver is bright engrams, which is Destiny 2's term for loot boxes. The contents are completely random and cosmetic. You do not get weapons or armor that give you an advantage over the other players. The site points out Destiny 2 received a large amount of criticism for taking the infinitely reusable shader of Destiny 1 and making them single-use burnable items. And it details the contents of Destiny 2's current expansion, Curse of Osiris, as well as that a new expansion is on the way on May the 8th.
So the site awards a spotless tag to games that include absolutely no form of post-purchase monetization, many of which are older titles or indie games. Although interestingly, that also means that something like Horizon Zero Dawn, which has just one tag of expansive expansion for its DLC The Frozen Wilds, does not qualify for the spotless tag, despite not having any type of loot box, microtransaction or other form of in-game monetization. The site only launched this week, but according to its own Twitter page, quote, "We were not prepared for this level of interest and we are backed the heck up with pending submissions, over 200 of them at the time of writing. It is radical as hell to see that so many people think this site is a cool idea. Thank you so much." I'm blaming Cliffy B for bringing back the word radical. The site takes info from the Giant Bomb database and stuff, so there's kind of part automation in there, but people can submit their own breakdowns and summaries. That's what they're talking about in the tweet there. They've got 200 to go through and, I guess, vet before they chuck it on the website. You know, the games I searched for, they did turn up results. There already is quite a substantial number of games on there. It does go back quite a while as well. I did search for God of War, the recently released, and it had all of the God of Wars on there, and obviously they're all spotless because they're old games and games used to be better. It's an interesting tool. If this is the kind of thing that, you know, bothers you, you want to know if it's got microtransactions, loot boxes and all that bullshit before you jump into a game, then you just search on that and then it tells you.
This is great, and I think these are the type of tags that they should put on things like Steam, because it's the kind of thing you want to go into a game, you know, knowing beforehand whether it's going to demand more money. All right, it might have like a tag on Steam, but this is the easy way to see it, right? You've got these badges, and then you get to see exactly, and it's the details The detailed breakdown as well, which it says in the description, it says exactly what they got the badges for. So that's a really useful tool. I've checked out the advanced search feature on the website is really cool too, because you can just search for games. You can filter games. So if you want to find maybe a shooter game or an action game or whatever, you just want one that doesn't have microtransactions, damn it, because they've all got microtransactions in these days. You can do that. You can filter through them all and it'll come up with a list. You can filter out the tags that you want. So if you don't want loot boxes, you filter that out specifically, or if you don't want microtransactions completely, if you want a completely only gold tick games, then you can do that, and it'll give you a search results, and then you go in and pick a game off the list, and then you'll know for definite that you're getting a whole game with no additional monetization bullshit. I vary away from games with microtransactions in them and loot boxes specifically because I don't want that shit in my games. So a website like this, although we definitely are not affiliated, is something that I will be using all the time.
Not affiliated.
So what do you think, guys? Loot boxes, microtransaction, bullshit, is it getting you down? Is this the kind of site that you think you might use? Let us know down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Check out another one of our videos on your screen there. Support us on Patreon using that link there. We will see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.